What's up? My name's Brandon Barnes. My life's been renewed through Christ since I was probably about 19. As a kid, I was always trying to be the best, the coolest, and ended up getting into a lot of trouble. Just trying to be the cool kid instead of doing things that truly mattered and helped others and lived the way that God wanted us to live. So after I got into trouble, I did some community service at a church that my buddy's dad ran, and I thought it'd be easy. It made me pretty much come early in the morning, help set up. He made me sit in the front row, take notes, and then had to break down and sit down with him after and talk about the word. And I just remember the first week I just didn't do anything, and he didn't give me credit for my hours. And then as we went on and weeks passed, I started diving more into the word, at first because I had to, and then I felt that my life, I'd been seeing these little changes that was just fulfilling me. And as I kept going and going every week, it didn't become a chore, it became a life decision. It became what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. I was baptized at 18 for the second time, which was for me really the first time that I was truly baptized. And from then on, I've tried to live my life for His glory and just share His faith and His love through my career. I spent 7.5 years in the minor leagues, never gave up, wanted to a bunch of times, but I knew that every time I went back home and I prayed, and I knew that there was something in this game that He wanted me to do. It's not to be the best baseball player. It's to be a disciple and to glorify His name on this huge altar in the major leagues and to touch lives. And as I've done that, I felt that my career has progressed a lot more than I thought it ever would, just by giving Him all the glory and not being selfish with it, and knowing that my life isn't the only life that matters. It's my kids, it's my family, it's my wife, it's others around, it's the fans, my teammates, my coaches. Those lives that you touch are lives that can touch others as well. My core verse, it's a lot of people's, it's Philippians 4:13, where I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I just remember at 18, a friend gave me that verse, and I just sat there and I read it, and I had faith, and I believed that I knew I could do all things through Him, because He is the strongest, He is the greatest. And if you look towards Him and you ask Him, He will help. And I just feel like, every time I'm in a rut, or things aren't going my way, just bad days, I just go back to that verse and just read it over and over again and know that His glory is greater than all.
How are you finding being able to kind of grow in your faith through the busy season?
Yeah, definitely. So 3 years ago, I started a book after it was about 4 years ago. I started a little journal. When I go on the road, when we're at home during the season, I try to spend those mornings with my kids and my wife. But 4 years ago, I started making this journal for my daughter, so when she grew up, I was able to hand it to her and give it to her, and she'd be able to see the different things that I wrote down in this journal. So every time I go on the road, I take each morning, I go out to breakfast, and I sit in a quiet little corner, and I read, I do little studies, just dive into the Word every morning, whether it's 15 minutes to 30 minutes. I try to jot down as much as I can on what I learned that day, so that I'm able to give that to my daughter and to pass that glory down to her. And I just started a second one for my second daughter, and it's just a way for me to stay into the Word. I have such great teammates and so many guys on my team that are faith-based and they love Christ, and coaches and some of our front office guys, and they do a good job of coming to doing chapel every week, and we'll have men's groups when we're on the road. So I think it's just being around guys that love the Lord just as much as you do and want to share that.
You said how many years you spent in the minors? You said
7.5.
7. So after the 7.5 years, like when you got that call up, like just take us through that day, that process, how that was for you.
Yeah, so I had never been on the roster, on the 40-man roster, which is, tough for a guy to get to the big leagues if you've never been on the roster. I remember it was 2012, it was August 6th, and I was in Salt Lake City, Utah. I had just finished up a game. We had lost on a walk-off home run by Cole Calhoun, and I remember going into the clubhouse, eating my food, and one of the trainers said, "Hey, the coach wants to talk to you, the manager wants to talk to you." So I went in there just thinking, hey, maybe he just wanted to, because I was in center field, he wanted to ask, where was that pitch? Did he miss his spot? One of those things. I had no idea what was going on, and I stepped into his office, and he asked me why my attitude was bad, why I wasn't the same guy I was before. I told him I was just trying to be even-keeled, and I was struggling at the time a little bit, so I was just trying not to be too high, too low. And he just kept pounding me, why aren't you the same guy? How come your attitude's been different? You've been moping around. And, for me, I was kind of getting upset because I felt that I was being the same person. I was being that level-headed, even-keeled guy. And as the conversation progressed, I got a little more heated. And then at the end, he said, "Well, that's good that you're going to go to the big leagues." And I just remember pulling my shirt over my face and just crying for at least 15 minutes straight. And as I took that shirt down, I saw, these three coaches that were in the room crying with me, which is a testament, I think, of my hard work and the type of person I am to where I could affect other people's lives in a good way. And it was just one of those moments where I had to pull myself together, pull my emotions together, and I went outside. First thing I did was I called my wife, told her we were going to the big leagues, and she kind of chuckled, laughed. She thought it was a joke. She thought I was messing with her. And then as she realized that I wasn't messing with her, she started crying as well. And we had a 1-year-old at the time, so she was struggling at home, and being a single mom for half the year is tough. So just to hear the joy in her tears and her cry, it was a special moment for me, because she supported me so much through that process of going through the minor leagues, to share that with her. And then being able to call my parents and my family was special, because they never gave up on me. They always told me to keep going and keep pushing. And I just remember showing up to the ballpark that next morning. I probably slept an hour. I was so excited, and I had to fly out early in the morning. So I got to the stadium. I walk in, say hi to the manager. He says, "Hope you're ready because you're in the lineup today." And I just paused, and I was like, first day here, I'm playing my first big league game. And I was excited, nervous. I think I was so shocked and just had not slept that my adrenaline was just ready to go. I remember my first 3 at-bats, I grounded out to the second baseman, all 3 at-bats, and I was like, this is not fun. This is tough. And going out the next day, and my first at-bat, ground ball to second baseman, and then I struck out, and then I got the cheapest first major league hit of my life, but I will take it. And it was just one of those days where I had family there, my wife, my pastor, my dad, my best friend. Just to be able to share that moment with them was priceless, and something I'll never forget.
We know that you hit for the cycle. Just share a little about how that day was, how that felt for you, that moment.
Yeah, the cool thing about the cycle day, the day I hit for the cycle, me and my wife, we had been struggling to have our second child. We've been trying for about 6 months, and it just wasn't working. And 3 days prior to that game, it was the All-Star break, and the last game before the All-Star break, we were in Tampa Bay, and a friend of mine, Luke Scott, on the other team, and then Carlos Pena and Justin Maxwell on my team. We all kind of got in the same room, and we were talking. It was probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and we all decided to head back to our rooms. And we had this prayer before we left, and I just remember it being one of the most powerful prayers that I've ever been a part of. Everybody spoke and everybody talked, and just how deep it was. I felt something that night, so I went back to my room at about 1:30. I laid in my bed, and I just laid there and kept my mind open and my heart open. And you know, me being a faith guy and a religious guy, and having my faith in Christ, and I felt that he was talking to me that night. You know, it's not like I heard a voice. It's just something that was inside of me that was just saying, I got you. I've got your back. Over and over again. Probably 100 times I felt that, and I heard it in my body, in my soul. And, you know, I probably didn't go to bed till 3 o'clock that night because I was so overjoyed, and had always been, you know, seeking for that. I don't even know how to explain it, that reassurance or that love, that word that he gives you. And so I remember waking up that next day, calling my wife and just telling her, you know, what had happened and what I felt. And so as the All-Star break went through, I didn't pick up a bat, I didn't do anything. I just remembered what he told me. He said he's got my back. And that first game back from the All-Star break, we're facing the Seattle Mariners. Joe Saunders was pitching. My first at bat, I hit a home run. I mean, I haven't picked up a bat in 3 days, and I just, as I crossed home plate, I pointed up at the sky, and I just reiterated, I've got your back, and I felt it. And the second at bat comes up, I hit a triple in the right center gap. I mean, we're rolling today. This is a good day. You know, I haven't picked up a bat 4 days, hit a homer and a triple in the right center gap, and then next at bat, I mean, I just hit a CNI single that I felt like God just kind of weaved it through the infield. And then my fourth at bat, I come up. I know what I need. Everybody in the ballpark knew what I needed. I needed a double, and I just went up there. You know, people are standing up, and I just remember having no pressure. First time I've ever gone up in the biggest situation of my life, and I had no pressure because I just kept hearing, I've got your back. And took a swing, ball went right down the right field line. I hustled in the second, I beat the throw, and I just remember standing up in the whole crowd, just standing and cheering and waving my cap to everybody. And it was one of those moments that I'll never forget. And then to come up for my fifth at bat and get another single and go 5 for 5 was just icing on the cake, and just one of the coolest moments. And then when I got home that night, I was eating dinner, and the next thing I know, my wife's calling me kind of frantically. It kind of scared me, so I ran into the bathroom. She's giving my daughter a bath, and on the wall it says, I'm gonna be a sister. And to hit for the cycle and then to have a child in the same day was probably hands down the greatest day of my life, other than, you know, having my first child and my wedding day. Just one of the coolest, unreal moments of my life to sit down there and really open my mind and my soul to God, and him talk to me and let me know that everything's gonna be all right. And then it happened right there in that moment, and it was just unbelievable. It gives me chills to this moment just thinking about it.
Wow.
Yeah, for me, it's every day I go out there and I don't play for me. I play for my team, and I play for the glory of God. I want to do something that day that helps my team win and that glorifies God and shows other people why I'm playing this game. For me, it's not being about being the best baseball player. It's about being the best person I can be, a great human being, a great friend, a great father, a great husband, and just helping people. You know, there's so many people out there with so many more struggles than us, and I just think at the end of the day, I don't want to be known as just a baseball player. I want to be known as a good human being, a person that loves the Lord and that shares that. And just the way I want to finish out my career is just keep doing that. Whether it's 5 more days in the big leagues, it's 1 more day, 8 more years, you know, whatever it is, I want to continually to grow in Christ, to share that love, and to be known as a disciple, to be known as a friend, and just a good human being, not as a baseball player.
That's awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah.